we are going to study about the Unit 2 differentiation, and we will solve some of the basic word problems. So before we start anything, remember few of the most important thing that if in any kind of the calculus question position is given, okay, position is given, or you will be given displacement, or the distance is given, or the speed is given, or the height is given, and they ask you to find the instantaneous rate of change of height, instantaneous rate of change of speed or velocity. So in order to get the velocity, you always take the derivative of the position. So after taking the derivative of this position, you will get the velocity. So in other words, velocity is the derivative of position. Similarly, from the velocity, if you again take the derivative, then you will get the acceleration. So let's suppose the position x of t is given. If you take the derivative of this position function, this is said to be the velocity. If you again take the derivative of the position function, or you take the derivative of the velocity, then this is said to be the acceleration. This is the basic thing. Other thing is any word problem, if it is written as to find out the instantaneous rate of change. So instantaneous rate of change represents the derivative. Have a look at the question and try to understand what they are asking you. A particle moves along the x-axis in such a way that its position at a time is given by this equation. So the position is given to you as x equals to 3t to the power 4 minus 16t cube plus 24t square. So I just wrote it down. Now they are asking you, the first part is determine the velocity first. So in order to find out the velocity, of course you have to take the derivative of the position. In order to take the derivative, what do? We multiply the power with the coefficient. Basic rule, that is the power rule. 4 times 3 is 12t, and from the power we always subtract 1, that is 3. Minus, same way do it, 3 times 16, it is 48. T to the power of, from the power we subtract 1, so it will give you 2. Now multiply again the power with the coefficient, that will gives you 2 times 24, 48t, and from the power subtract 1, it is 1. We don't write the 1 as a power. Now same question, it is written find the acceleration. In the same part written acceleration. What is acceleration? Acceleration, it is actually the first derivative of the velocity or the second derivative of the position. If you are not writing each and everything, then no need, only just write the acceleration and take the derivative. So 3 times 12 gives you 36t, from the power we subtract 1, so it will be 2. Minus 48 times 2 gives us 96t, from the power we subtract 1, it gives us 1, we don't write the power as a 1. Derivative of this multiple constant multiple rule, derivative of cx is c, so 48t is 48. So now we are done with the part 1. The part 2 states at what values of the t the particle is at rest. So remember, the particle is at rest only when the velocity is 0. So remember this part, when the particle is rest means whenever the thing is calm, whenever the statement comes as at rest, it means that the velocity of the function equals to 0. So let's see here, the velocity function is this thing, that is 12t cube minus 48t square plus 48t. This is this equation, right? So keep this equation equals to 0 because velocity is 0. It means that the particle is at rest. Now they are asking you to find the t values. So now it is a cubic function, right? So solve for the t. Now I would suggest, rather than going directly and factoring through the calculator, whatever you can do it yourself, do it. Take the t common. So you can take the t common. So what is left over here? It will be 12t square because 1t is outside. So t times 2e square will gives you t cube. Minus 1t is outside. So you will be left with 48t. Now this t is outside. What is left? Plus 48 equals to 0. Now of course this factor equals to 0 and the other quadratic factor is also equals to 0. So we can write it over here as t equals to 0. So one factor and the other factor is t square, 12t square minus 48t plus 48 equals to 0. Now I would suggest, rather than making the factors mentally, if you are allowed to use the calculator, then use the calculator. If you are using the scientific calculator, then go to the scientific calculator, mode 5-3. Okay, means mode on the 5 equation is written and on the 3 that is quadratic equation is given. So here is the quadratic equation. So t equals to 2. Yani 2 seconds is repeating, 2 is repeating. So you will have the two t's. One is 0 and one is 2. And here you can see that they are already telling you that the time should lie between -5 and 5. So here of course the 0 lie in between this interval and t equals to 2 also lie in this interval. Now some students sometimes ask, what if the t doesn't lie in this interval? So you will only pick the t that lies in this interval only. So here you will write here, okay, in AP calculus questions, you always write the statement to finish your answer. You have to write at t equals to 0 and t equals to 2, the particle will be at rest. Now, in the last part, they are asking us to find the velocity when acceleration is 0. What is meant by this thing? Look, it means when acceleration is 0. We just found out that the acceleration is a of t equals to 36t square minus 96t plus 48. With this we just now find out. Only I just copied that thing. And they are asking us to find the acceleration equals to 0. So again go to the mode 5-3 in the calculator, or if you have the graphic calculator, you will go to the equation F2, F1. Okay, we will write here 36 minus 96 plus 48 and it will give us t equals to 2. It will give us t equals to 2 and t equals to 2 over 3. This is when acceleration equals to 0, time is this thing. So what is the finding the velocity? It means, let's see here, I am just copying down the velocity function which we just find out, 12t cube minus 48t plus 48t. Okay, these are the functions we already find out. They are saying that when t equals to 2, find the velocity. When t equals to 2 by 3, find the velocity. Okay, so you have to find the velocity when acceleration is 0. It means at t equals to 2, find the velocity, and at t equals to 2 by 3, find the velocity. So wherever you have the t, you are going to replace by the 2 one time, write it in the calculator and get the answer. Similarly, when velocity is 2 by 3, when acceleration, when the time is 2 by 3, put it in the velocity function and get the answer. So this is how we will solve the question. So the main task is to understand what they are saying, and that's it. By f of x equals to 1 plus 6 of x. Give the domain and range of the function. Okay, so when they ask you to find the domain of a range of a function, remember this is the function which is written inside the inside the square root. Now for such kind of the function, we always take the inner function which is written inside the radical sign and make it greater equals to 0. Means all the values which will be greater and equals to 0, not the negative values, will gives you the answer. So now in our case, the f of x is written as 1 plus 6 of 6x. Make it greater and equal to 0. Solve for x. So bring the 1 over here. You will get 6x greater and equals to 0. Divide greater and equals to negative 1. Divide both sides by the 6 and we will get x greater equals to negative 1 over 6. It means that the domain are all real numbers which are greater or equal to negative 1 over 6, in which negative 1 over 6 is included. Now if we put negative 1 over 6 inside the y value, that means the function, means if I write here in place of x, I will write negative 1 over 6, and in order to find the y values, it will gives us negative 1 over 6, it will gives us 0. So the range is all real numbers including 0 till infinity. So this is our range. Now next question is, determine the slope of the tangent line of the graph f at x equals to 4. Now we all know that the slope of tangent line means the derivative of the function. Now look at this, the function is written inside the radical sign, so you can write it outside the radical sign by converting it into the power. And the power of a square root is 1 over 2. Now take the derivative. Since it is a composite function, this 1 plus 6x is the inner function and half is the outer function. So it means that we have to apply the chain rule of differentiation. And chain rule says that take the derivative of the outer function times the derivative of the inner function. Now outer function is power, so apply the power rule, bring the power before the function, write the inner function as it is. From the power subtract 1, that means make it half minus 1, it will gives us negative half. And don't forget to take the derivative of inner function. The derivative of 1 is 0 and the derivative of 6x is 6. Now if I want to simplify, I will write in the calculator 6 half times 6. It will gives me 3. I avoid to write the negative power. So I will bring this 1 plus 6x in the denominator, means down, in order to make the negative power as a positive power. So this is my derivative. Now to determine the slope at x equals to 4, I will just replace my derivatives x by 4. So wherever I will have the x, I will change it into 4. Now it is power is half, that's why rather than writing the power half, I put it as a radical sign, a square root sign. If I write all this in the calculator, I will get as 3 over 5. It means that the derivative Slope is 3 over 5. Now the C part says, determine the y-intercept of the line tangent to the graph at x equals to 4. Which means that you have to find out the y-intercept of the equation of the line. Now if you remember that the equation of the line in terms of y-intercept is y equals to mx plus b. What is m? M is 3 over 5. What is x? X is given to us in the question, that is 4. What is b? B is actually the y-intercept which we have to determine. Now, what is y? Of course, y, it is a function, right? Which means that if I replace the functions x by our x by 4, then I will get it 1 plus 6 times 4, which gives me 5. So my y is 5. Now solve for the b. So b, 5 equals to 3 times 4, 12 over 5 plus b. Bring the 12 over 5 on the other side. So it will give me 5 minus 12 over 5 equals to b. If I write in the calculator or I do mental maths, it will be 25 minus 12, that gives me 13 over 5. So my y-intercept is 13 over 5. Now they are asking me to give the coordinates of the point on the graph where the tangent line is parallel to y equals to x plus 12. What does it mean? It means that what is the slope of the parallel line, and the slope of this line has to be same. So let's see here. If we look at this one and compare this equation with this equation, what is the slope of this equation? The slope is this number, right? Written with the x. If no number is written, it means that the slope is 1. Okay, so I know that f prime x equals to, what is the derivative of this function? I just determined 3 over square root of 1 plus 6x. This is, I just find out, okay, before previous slides I already have find out this f derivative. Now derivatives means slope, okay, so it means that this all equals to 1. So I can write it as 1 equals to 3 over square root of 1 plus 6x. Cross multiply, 1 times square root of 1 plus 6x gives me the same thing, equals to 3. I have to solve the x and the y values, so I will take the square on both sides. It will gives me this square root and square cancel, so I will get 1 plus 6x equals to 3 square, that will gives me the 9. Solve for the x, so bring the 1 over here, so 6x equals to 9 minus 1, which gives me 8. Divide both sides by the 6, so I will get x equals to 4 over 3. Now this is my x value. In order to find the y value, I will put my 4 over 3 in my actual equation, because y value I can find out only when I put it in my actual equation. So replace square root of 1 plus 6 times 4 over 3. It will gives me f of 4 over 3, right? And solve it. So it will give me 1 plus 4, 24 by 3, so 3 plus 24, that will gives me 27 by 3, so it is 9, so answer will be 3. So my coordinates are x and y. So x is 4 by 3 and y is 3. Just check the calculations if you will have any problem. Rewind the video if you have any confusion, and you know where to find me. If you have any question, you can ask me anywhere. Otherwise, subscribe my channel, write in the comment box if you have any queries about this question or the questions like this. Next question. The position of the particle that is moving in a straight line is given by the equation. For your ease, I am writing the equation as equals to t cube minus 6t square plus 9t. Find the velocity. We just saw that in order to find if we find the first derivative of the position, it will give us the velocity function. So you will apply the power rule or the constant multiple rule where necessary to get the velocity. Bring the 3 beside the function. Write the t as it is. From the power we subtract 1, so we will get 2. Multiply the power with the coefficient, that is 12, 6 times 2, t. From the power we subtract 1. Here the constant multiple rule, the derivative of 9t will be only 9. Now B part says find the velocity when t equals to 6 seconds, which means that replace the t by the 6. So 6 is square minus 12 times 6 plus 9 equals to whatever. Write in the calculator, get the answer. Next part C, find the acceleration. What is meant by acceleration? That take the derivative of second derivative of this position or the first derivative of the velocity. So same rules apply. Multiply the function, multiply the coefficient with the power. That means 2 times 3 will give us 6t. From the power we subtract 1, so we will get 1 minus derivative of 12t is only t, 12, and the derivative of a constant is 0. That's why I am not writing here 0. Now next question, D part. They are asking us to find the acceleration when t equals to 2. It means this is giving us acceleration, right? So it means in place of t, just write the 2. Replace 6 by the t, by the 2, and write it in the calculator. Get the answer of acceleration. Now last part, when the particle is at rest. What is meant by this statement? It means the velocity is 0. When means find the time. How long, when, it means it all indicates the time. Okay, so where is the velocity function? 3t square minus 12t plus 9. This is the velocity function, right? Second line. Make it equals to 0 and factor. For the factor, one more time, go to the mode 5-3 in the calculator scientific, and if you are using the graphic calculator, then you are going to use equation F2 and F1. Write down 3 minus 12 and positive 9 and find out the t values. So t is equals to 3 and t equals to 1. So these are the times when the particle is at rest. Please remember, in the AP calculus, we don't only calculate. Whenever there is a word problem, you have to write down. It means what you will not write only t equals to 3, t equals to 1. You are going to write the particle is at rest when t equals to 3 and t equals to 1. Similarly, in the fourth part, you are going to write the acceleration at t equals to 2 seconds is 0. Similarly, in part C, you have to write, in part B, you have to write that the velocity of the particle at t equals to 6 seconds is whatever we find over here, the answer. So in AP calculus, it's not about only calculation, but also convert your calculation into verbal statement. The question is once again trying to blow up the earth because it interferes with his view of Venus. Marvin the Martian lands on the moon. Bugs Bunny, as always, interferes with his plans. Chasing bugs, Marvin fires a warning shot straight up into the air with his Acme disintegration pistol. The height, now this is my concern. The height after t seconds of the shot is given by this function. S of t equals to minus 2.66t squared plus 135t plus 3. Now find the velocity. So what is velocity? The first derivative of the height will gives us the velocity of this bullet. What we will get? Multiply the power with the coefficient. It will gives us minus 5.32t plus derivative of, this is constant multiple rule, like derivative of cx is only c. So 135t will be only 135. Take the double derivative of the position or the first derivative of the acceleration of the velocity will gives us the acceleration. This is our part. So again constant multiple rule. So we will get minus 5.32 and the derivative of a number is 0. The number of the gallons of water in a tank m minutes after the tank has started to drain is given by some equation, that is g of m equals to 302 minus t square. Now first of all I would suggest to write the equation in a normal way, means open the bracket to make it simpler and make your life easier to take the derivative. So open it. 300 times 2 gives us 600. 300 times negative t square, it gives us negative 300 t square. Now when they are asking you how fast the water is running or anything like such kind of the question in which you have to find the rate of change of something, it means that you have to take the derivative of the function. So derivative of a number is 0. Never ever forget to consider this negative sign while taking the derivative. So 2 times negative 300 gives us negative 600 and t. Now find the instantaneous rate of, now find how fast is the water draining at the end of 5 minutes. Which means that you just replace the t by the 5. So 5 times 6, 30 and then 3000 minutes. Okay, now you have another question. Find the instantaneous rate of change of f of x equals to 2 sine x at pi by 6 seconds. It means take the derivative. Derivative 2 is multiplying by a function using the constant multiple rule. We write the 2 as it is and take the derivative of sine x, and sine x changes into cosine x. Now replace the x by pi over 6 seconds. So you will get 2 cosine pi over 6. Now remember, whenever you have the calculus class, then always keep the calculator in your radian, in the radian mode. So write down in the calculator 2 cos pi over 6 and get the answer. So it would be 1.732. So this is all about today, and we will see you in the next video with another questions.